See you again.
Thank you. You as well. Now, obviously, every manufacturer here at NAB is showing some technology, right?
That is
right. That's
kind
usually
of
how it
why we
works?
get together,
Okay.
I think, maybe.
So what is on display? What are you excited to tell people about at this NAB?
Well, it's just the continued evolution of our product, of the Evo and the Evo Suite, and that's so all-inclusive for us, right? Because we have hardware, we have software, we have cloud, we have hybrid, we have automation, we have share browser, asset management. It's a really easy way to kind of get in and get what I like to say, the 90% of the MAM you really, really want, which is I need to find stuff, I need to index, I need to get into my NLE, and I need to integrate it into my workflow, all included. So we continue to show the evolutions there. We've got some new hardware stuff, higher density with new drives. We've got some new software tools with Archive Restore that are really cool, that make that very simple to understand without having to get third-party integrations and figure that out, and it's all built right into Share Browser. And then we've also got a new private beta product that we're really excited about called Outpost. So that's something that the audience should definitely take a look at on our website. Come by the show, sign up for the private beta with KeyCode. I know you guys do have a lot of SNS clients, and every one of them is certainly welcome to apply for that and kind of get into it. So it's an exciting time.
Use the term cloud, and we'll get to that in 1 second. But what I want to make sure everyone who's watching this understands is that we have this phrase called asset management by OS. Right, which is I'm going to do Apple F and I'm going to search I'm going to search Mac OS using Finder, or I'm going to use Windows Explorer, and that's not always fast or efficient. The flip side of that is you can buy an enterprise MAM, which takes tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars and weeks or months of coding and integration, and it's just a boring UI. But what Share Browser does is it's coming with the Evo storage. So anyone that is on the network or through a VPN can utilize that asset management solution from day one.
Correct, absolutely. And that's kind of the best part about it too, is it's an enhancement, right, to a workflow. It's an enhancement to an environment. People often, when we talk about enterprise MAM, as you just did, we talk about ingesting to the MAM.
Right.
Which is very different than ingesting my files as an editor to my storage, right? So when Share Browser comes in along with the Evo and in unlimited fashion, right, we don't care how many users you've got, we're just going to go at it. It will also index existing storage because we use non-proprietary file systems. It's very important for us to make sure, especially as things continue to hyper-converge in this world. And
there's
together.
The AI bingo, the buzzword, buzzword bingo.
Yep,
okay.
Yep. That was the free space in the middle. No.
So looking at disparate storage systems.
Right, and using non-proprietary protocols and systems to make sure that we play well with what's there. We don't say, you've been doing it all wrong. There are so many things that come in and say, you've been doing it all wrong. We're going to rebuild this from the ground up. We're going to move all your data. We're going to we're going to index with this database. We're going to set up all these crazy automated workflows. And that's fun. It's neat to design. In practice, the amount of time it takes, the user training, the maintenance of that workflow can be quite challenging. So what we do is come in and say, look, you've obviously succeeded to this point. There are some places that we can improve. Let's try to do that. And we can index kind of everything where it's at. So there's not necessarily this huge lift at the beginning. Those sea changes in workflow are where they fail, in my opinion. So if we can keep it simple and kind of build as we go, customers are happy.
And speaking of the building as you go, that's one of the things that Slingshot does.
Yep.
Right? Because of that component, you're able to interop with third parties to have other technologies work with that media in tandem with Share Browser.
Right, absolutely. Well, so there's a Share Browser API, and then there's also Slingshot, which is an API, but an automation engine, a transcode engine, all these things that you can build in, and transcode accelerator now, which is really exciting, where I can take.
Can we talk about that?
We can
Is
totally
that cool?
talk about that.
So we're talking about distributed transcoding on the machines on your network, and it's being orchestrated by Share Browser.
By transcode accelerator, but
okay.
yes.
Apologies.
So by the Evo. But it takes and this is, I think, a big trend that we're going to have to face in our industry, right? We don't have unlimited budgets. In many cases, in many parts of our industry, we actually have diminishing budgets at the moment. So with Transcode Accelerator, it's part of that SNS message of we're going to take what you've got. So I took your old storage and we indexed it and we made it searchable and we brought it into a workflow because it was fast enough with Share Browser and asset management and panels inside of the applications you already know how to use, and we've made everything easier to get to. Well, let's do that with transcoding now. So I've got a bunch of workstations. People are working on them.
Right.
Typically. Hopefully.
We'd hope so.
Right. That's why we bought them. But those age out too. So how can we repurpose these old these old machines? How can we use more of what we've got? Well, every workstation has processors. So does the server. So if I have bulk ingest, what if I could take every workstation in my environment and through orchestration say, all right, you've all got media encoder. You've all got the ability to transcode. But why do we do it one at a time?
Right.
Why can't we just distribute that? So that's really what that transcode accelerator does. We opt in the processor of that computer. We tell transcode accelerator which computers we want to use. And if someone ingests 10,000 files, we don't do it in one place. We get everybody kind of working together. And that way it massively accelerates the turnaround for that stuff, which is huge. And again, just makes it easy, very easy to set up. And that's one of the things I like about Slingshot. As we come back to that, Slingshot is a REST API, right? It can do a lot of things. It can interact with other APIs, and for a lot of our clients and a lot of our integrators like Keycode who have the tech talent, you can create an infinite number of workflows between two products that have an API. You can create all sorts of cool triggers and different things. But for a lot of our clients, mid-market or clients that are, internal marketing agencies that might not get the full IT resource of their company. Their primary goal of the client isn't to create video. Video is ancillary to the core mission.
Right.
For communication, there's a UI. I can select from a dropdown. I can say, you know what? I need to take everything that everyone's been putting in Microsoft OneDrive for the last 3 years, and I need to pull it down to the post-production shared storage so that we can work on it. That takes about 3 minutes and 5 clicks to set up. So many of the other things, when we talk about automation, when we talk about enterprise, you're going to find yourself in a command line at some point. And if you can navigate that thing, God bless you. But that's a different skill. It's a different set. So this is something that we always talk about, that the editor themselves can really understand this and handle it. The creative team themselves, you don't have to be a coding expert. You don't have to know Python. And you'll still get a lot of use out of these automations.
Now, there's a word you brought up earlier that we normally don't hear associated with SNS, and that's cloud, right? So talk to me about this new Outpost product and what kind of challenges it solves for users.
So what it solves, as we continue to grow in a lot of different verticals, what it really solves for is bringing a complete workflow into the Evo ecosystem, into the Evo suite. What we find in our industry a lot is there's a lot of different tools to do very specific things.
Right.
And you have to know what every tool does. And worst, every tool has its own UI.
And subscription.
Yep, well, hold on now. Evo doesn't have subscription on that side. But with Outpost, it's bringing kind of some of that review and approval stuff into it. So it's the ability to stay within Share Browser, but to be able to deliver outside of your network. So when we were in traditional Post, right, we didn't care so much about the distribution. Something else could handle that, from the NLE layer, from a file accelerated delivery layer, whatever the case may be. But there was more and more cause to say, boy, it would be great if I could just do it here. I'm already here. I'm in the MAM. And so we listened to the client base there, and we said, okay, I got it. What happens when you want to get to a third-party agency? Well, we don't want them to actually have direct access necessarily to the file system. But here's a way that we can do that. So that's really where the concept of Outpost came from. And it's neat because we've been working on it internally. Our own marketing team uses it. They've been using it for several years now on that side. So it's actually quite mature for a private beta, and we're just looking for some finishing touches feedback. And I think it'll be a game changer. We've committed in our press release to staying kind of the SNS way. Because the other thing you'll find with a lot of those software, very specific tools with their own license and their own subscription, is how you subscribe. And that's per user, right? And that's true of a lot of software tools. But it's not true of Share Browser. If you have an Evo, you have unlimited licenses of Share Browser. If you subscribe to Outpost, you have an unlimited number of users. So it's keeping that mantra of this needs to be, it's not just transparency of the technology. We all know this. It's transparency of the business model. It's the transparency of the cost to the end user. It's
Great
not
way of phrasing it.
The use model is great until you use it. Sometimes you can be surprised by bills, and that's what we don't want to do to our customers. We need, in this industry especially, predictability. I remember a panel with Keycode a couple of years ago talking about some of the cloud stuff. It's like, post-production has a budget. I don't get to go back and be like, hey, I use more terabytes, give me more money. That's not how that works.
No.
So our clients need predictability, they need controlled costs, and they need value, and that's where we focus.
Steve, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to all of you who have tuned in over the past 2 days for these live streams. If you're interested in Outpost and getting on the private beta, or you're looking to grow your SNS deployment, or you're looking for some consultation on how to really accelerate your usage with Share Browser and Slingshot, and of course, Nomad, reach out to Key Code Media, whether it's post-production, production, broadcaster, AV. We've got the answers, we've got the talent, and we've got a little bit of free consulting for you. So reach out when you have a chance, and thank you for joining us on today's stream.
Thanks again, Michael.